And welcome back. Today I'm flying out the MiG-23MF for Germany, the top tier reward for the 2021 winter event. For the last video of the year we are gonna be covering one of my favorite planes in the game, and you've heard how much I loved it in the original MiG-23M video on release. That thing was absolute horseshit. This thing, however, after the buffs as well as the R60Ms, it definitely isn't a slouch anymore. It's not one of the main planes that defines the meta, but it's still definitely solid and it can get stuff done. And if you have flown the MiG-23M, you should know what to expect. And I do recommend you to run the wings on automatic mode for the majority of the game. Once you start a dogfight, you can of course sweep them all the way forward, and a little tip that I can give you is you want to disable the automatic sweep on the runway, sweep them all the way forward, and then you press the automatic key yet again, and this way it will remember what sweep you have set it to. And then once you start clicking the automatic key, it will sweep them all the way forward without you having to hold another key down, freeing up your hands a little bit once you start a dogfight. But more of this later, because I have some clips for you today. I got a 2v1 dogfight versus two FREs that start on my 6. I got a little bit of a sticky situation versus half the enemy team. And I also got a 1v5 versus some of the, well, it was quite the game. And that's all I'm gonna say with it, because it was anything but conventional. But it's a 1v5 and I needed some gameplay footage for this thing. I got about 70 kills in the thing, and I know how the MiG-23 handles. I got 100 kills in that one as well, and it's just hard to get footage right now because the games are pretty strong. You get MLDs and stuff in your team, and I'm looking at about an 85% win rate I think, and that's not because I'm carrying, that's because the team is carrying me. And this is the tricky situation. I shoot a missile at a guy and I'm getting locked from an F4J from the top, so I dodge his missile, I look forward, and half the enemy team is ahead of us. So what do you want to do? First of all, you want to start making sure that no one can turn on your 6. So you want to look around, you want to make sure that no one is turning after you, and as long as no one does, you should be completely fine. But this J7 as well as the F5 decide to do just that, and the J7 is a plane you don't really want to reverse, because the J7E is one of those planes that really thrives in a dogfight. This thing does as well, but you don't really want to risk it. So I'm just zigzagging left and right to dodge his missiles. At closer ranges, the J7E doesn't have the best missiles. They're actually so fast they can't pull in time. But now the F5C rips and I can start dogfighting this guy. So what I want to do here is I drop throttle a little bit just to reel him in a little bit closer. I do have that retention, so does he, and I'm hoping that he's trying to afterburn, hoping he's gonna start overshooting, and he does not. And at this point I can't really slow down anymore because I'm just going to be ending up killing myself. So I'm just going to pull him vertical. I'm going to try to reverse him or pull him vertical for the entire friendly team, because he's one of the last players in the enemy team right now and my team is completely alive. So all I have to do is dodge that NS30, or the NR30, sorry. So we're going to start pulling him up here and we are going to start preparing for the stall. Look at him, Bob Macmillan, going into a stall here, and we are going to go vertical here. We're going to start looping over now. I'm gonna cut it out because it takes very long, and there we go, definitely reversed. It's the same guy, you can see by the kill feed, so that definitely isn't edited. But all jokes aside, the plane is good, but you really just need to be aware of your surroundings, because the acceleration at higher speeds isn't that great. It's not an MLD and you're not going to be zooming around the map. It is still pretty damn fast, but it takes time to get there. And if you get something like an F5E on your 6 and he's close enough to the point where you have to start dodging his guns and your boat go Mach 1, you're actually gonna have a very hard time starting to outrun him. So keep that in mind. You don't want to get people too close on your 6, unless of course it's a secluded 1v1, but most of the time at top tier, well, you know how it works, it turns into a 1v4 and then they start 1v4ing all the other people in the team. So most of the time it's not gonna work. The main thing you want to look at with this thing is just the maneuverability as well as your retention at around like 900 to 1100 kilometers an hour, because you can stay there pretty long. The problem is once people start focusing you down and really want to kill you, you are just in a little bit of a pickle, and this plane isn't very great at that, but not many top tiers are. You have the MLD of course and the Viggen, which can do that pretty nicely. This one isn't one of those, but if you can start dogfighting everyone at once and they're all kind of bunched up, you can get away with a lot of stuff on this thing. But do keep in mind, it's very prone to being third-partied when you fly it that way. And there's an F5E coming below us. We just dodge him, he's very slow and he's spraying out of desperation, so I wasn't worried about him ever hitting me, and he's probably out of engines, fuel or something. He's about to die probably, so I just ignore him and continue for the Viggen. And the Viggen is gonna struggle a little bit with this thing on its ass. The thing is, he also has half his friendlies on his ass. Don't manage to get a good lock with the R60, so we go for guns, take his wingtip off, and he is gonna be dying pretty quickly here. We then turn back in and we start looking at who we can gunned down. There's an FHU as well as some F4Es. The F4E here definitely has priority, and he's the closest, so we shoot an R60M at him in the hope that he doesn't dodge it. We go underneath all these guys, very low to the ground, and you saw all those tracers go very far behind me. Well, he just neck-G'd his ass off and managed to get a hit in, and he took one of my flaps off, and this is going to make the next fight actually pretty damn annoying, because I have to reverse to F4Es now. And now I'm gonna speed this up a little because it's extremely boring. I just want to get some separation in. I just want to make sure that I have the room to actually start dogfighting them, because this is going to take a while, and to be honest, it doesn't matter how far away I get. If one of those other team members from them that are somewhere in the middle of the map want to kill me, they are going to be killing me. So I start notching the missile here, or not really notching, just going side on. Trying to reel them in close, and I'm trying to get them very closely together so I can start dogfighting both at once. First one turns in and he's turning behind me now. So I dodge this guy and then I switch to the first one because I lost quite a bit of position on him because I was too busy extending my turn to go for the second one. Now I have them both going vertical for me. I just have to start dodging their guns because they do have the first turn advantage here. And all I have to do now is simply keep turning into them and they will run out of energy eventually. But right here I would have really liked that flap that Mr. FHU had taken off me. Dodge another gun set. Dodge gun set number 2. And now they're flying right next to each other, and this takes a little bit of practice, this takes a lot of hurting, and I'm just trying to make them turn into direction so they end up right next to each other and I can start stalling both out at once. Or one start bleeding so much energy that I can just focus on the other one. But luckily it kind of worked. I made them turn into each other, and now look at it, they are both hanging right below me, and it's just a matter of looking at who I want to go for and who is presenting himself the most, because I just want to kill one of them. Doesn't really matter which one. As long as I get rid of one of these guys, I will easily win the 1v1. So I'm on the 6 of one of them now, and the other one is trying to switch up his loops, but he doesn't have the energy or the turn rate here to really do anything to me. So I'm just gonna go to the closer one here. I can kill him as quickly as I can. He's also a little bit slower, so I shoot some guns at him. I then shoot the missile because he's probably gonna turn back in, and he is. Dodge his guns, and we're gonna go up and over. He's starting to run pretty low on fuel here, so you can see that his vertical performance starts increasing, but yet again it's not enough, and with flaps this guy would have been completely boned. And here comes the MiG-27. I didn't want the MiG-27 here because I wanted to fight this guy on my own. I would have liked a little bit of a 2v1, but unfortunately it's not the case. I managed to just unlead that one, and now I'm going too fast, so I can't actually pull in here. Unlucky. We get him on our 6, and we just start looping over because there's no chance he is actually gonna follow this loop up. So instead of now trying to reset again and start resetting, flying away, getting position, we're just gonna pull him up for the MiG-27, and he is gonna be gunning him down. And there you go, a little bit of a 2v1, and now we start going into the regular gameplay with some regular kills. Mirage here, going straight, we lock him up with the R23T, and well, he doesn't see it, side aspect, and for most people that's a spot they don't really look at. And he takes the missile, and he goes down. And we just go on our merry way, and something that I started doing later on, I started using 20 minutes of fuel. And instead of using full afterburner, I will use half of it. The thing with the scroll wheel I keep talking about. You go to 100%, you scroll up once, you see the afterburner starts turning on, but you'll also see that your fuel consumption starts going down a bit. You still have quite a bit of power, but it doesn't drink as much, but you don't have to run 30 minutes that way, making you extremely heavy. And there you go, that's kill number 2. In the meantime, he just flew through our guns. Not the most spectacular thing that in the world. And this has been most of my gameplay. And this is why I've struggled trying to get a good video out, and that's just, the teams are too good. And I can try to get game after game after game and get 200 kills and then pick one game that's really fun to watch or whatever. But that's not what I want to do. I want to give you a little bit of a normal experience as well. And you really just want to start partying people. Flares are very good versus the R60Ms, and if you start shooting them at everyone in the head-on, everyone that's looking at you, they will see the missile, and if they pop 1 or 2 flares, it's going to miss. And that's unfortunately the way it is, or probably fortunately, because you don't want that kind of gameplay probably. But it's just, I didn't have much fun flying this thing, and that's simply because the teams were too good. I didn't really have to do anything, and when I did have to do something, what would end up happening was I get a full team of Su-22s, I get a full team of MiG-23MFs and stuff like that on my team, and then I couldn't win. It would be 1v8 in the first minute of the match, and there was no way I was ever going to win it. So the J7, pretty close, we missile him, kill number 4, and we are gonna start going into the 1v5 here. And I said earlier that it was pretty special, and that's not because it's a special display of skill. It's actually it's a shit match of a match. But I wanted to show it anyway because it has some things in it that I wanted to showcase. And there comes guy number 1. I just took off, I'm only going 900, so we need to dodge his Vulcan. We go under him, it's the American one, and it's the F4E. So he doesn't have a pulse Doppler, so I wasn't really worried about getting Sparrow there. So we just turn after him. And early in the match, I thought he wasn't using chaff, so I switched to the R23R on the landing, because I was using it at the start, but I didn't manage to get any kills. My entire team died, so I went and landed 1v5, I take back off, and I thought I was going to be a little bit of a smart guy, and radar this guy. Unfortunately, he switched, or he didn't switch, maybe my lock just didn't get broken earlier in the game, but he dodged the missile. Well, it doesn't really matter, because if it was the other one, it would have missed regardless, because it's still pretty susceptible to countermeasures, and he's running both, so no big loss there. F3 starts going for us yet again. We dodge the first turn, we turn back in here, and I'm trying to look at what he's doing. I want to fold the wings out, and you can see that I press it there for a second, but then I notice he's breaking off anyway, so we press it yet again, and we start going for him. He still has his afterburners on, and he's pretty close, and I actually want him to start dodging me, and I want to reel him in here. So if he can dodge one of these missiles, I will probably catch him, because I am on the clock. Luckily he's afterburning throughout, spamming flares, and the F4E is a pretty hot plane, not in terms of looks, and then he eats the R60, which is great for us, because if that missile had missed, if that had lasted more, or 10 to 20 seconds more, he probably would have won the game. Because right now I have time to get my speed back up, I have time to get some position, and I have time to kill the other 4 guys. Jaguar coming in, so I'm going to be locking him up with the R23, and we shoot it. And he also chaps it, instantly breaks lock, and I don't manage to get the shot off. Don't manage to pull in, but it's only a Jaguar. It's a Jaguar A however, so he does have the magics. I have 6 flares, he has 2 magics, the F4E has 4 AIM-9Js, and then the 2 F5Cs also have 4 AIM-9Es. Not too worried about those, so I have basically a flare per missile, per good missile. And I want to start locking this guy up, and I'm not getting a lock here, which is kind of frustrating, and I needed this guy dead, so I'm trying to pull in, trying to dodge his guns, shoot that R60 at him at the last possible moment, and thank fuck it actually took him down. Jaguar shoots his first flare, shoots his first magic at me, which means he has 1 left, and now I have 3 guys on my 6. And how am I going to be winning this? And it's actually pretty damn boring. I'm just going to be running until one of them breaks off. If I have to dogfight 2 at once, I don't really mind it. But I'm not going to be dogfighting 2 F5s and then a Jaguar third partying me. I'm not going to dogfight a Jaguar and an F5 and then get another F5 third partying me. It doesn't work. If they all would stick in a dogfight, I would do it. If I knew they would, but I have a feeling they won't. So I'm going to be extending here, and I'm going to be just zigzagging around the map until I get a position or an opening that I can abuse, which is what I will be skipping forward to. So after 1 or 2 minutes of me just running around the map, I'm starting to go to my side of the area. And why do I do that? They are now probably pretty low on fuel, because a lot of F5Cs, especially if they land mid-match, will switch to min fuel, which is what I'm hoping for here. Because if one of those starts breaking off, I will instantly start the fight. And you will tell, there we go, I start rolling instantly, I want to pull in really badly, but they both break off, which is fine as well, because now what I can do is simply 1v1 the F5. I'm just waiting for a little bit to see if they are actually pulling off, if they are actually going to go RTB, and then I can start 1v1ing the F5C here. And this is where the real bruh moment of this match starts. The F5C just kind of ignores me. He starts ground pounding. He's probably not looking around at all. Look at him. Just look at him. He has no idea, and I shoot a missile at him. He hasn't pre-flared, he hasn't been doing anything, and the missile just, it tracks and it kills. That's it. He just forgot I was there. He probably thought I was gonna go RTB the same. Not sure what happened there, but I'll take it any day of the week. And then I look at the timer. I have 7 minutes left. I have 3 minutes 50 of fuel. And if I RTB now, I don't actually have the time to get back out there and start killing them. So I'm just gonna be gliding around here, around the runway, around the exit for the Jaguar. The F-5C in the meantime managed to crash on the runway, which is pretty funny. But the Jaguar now is camping the base. He has been for the last, I think, 2 or 3 minutes. Pretty annoying. Sorry that Discord sound was hazy joining my Discord call with Zenex, or Migas in Paris, as he is called, and him starting a stream, which is what you just heard. But the Jaguar is just kind of flying around. I'm not afterburning because I don't have that much fuel. I have 1 minute 30. And he is... I'm not sure what he's doing. He knows I'm here. He flew over to me. He starts dodging me pretty quickly here. Of course the Jaguar have not much of a chance versus this thing. But if you're just gonna fly straight, go slow and then go back to the runway while I'm like 0.6 on your ass, I'm not too sure what he's doing. He looks completely lost. Look at him. He then of course started complaining that I was running the entire match and that he doesn't like running, but that's exactly what he's doing here, so that's pretty ironic. Yeah, not much to see here. This guy is just completely lost. Hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. See you all in the next year. Haha, Lamau. And have a nice New Year's.